BNN.
Do 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 do.
BNN.
Do 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 do.
BNN.
Do 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 do.
Hello and welcome to Big Nostalgia with me, Vicstar.
And me, haddowinc.
Today we're going to be talking about the game Bug's Life, obviously based on the 1998 movie Bug's Life. Fancy that.
So, up till now we've been playing some iconic... Well, we've been talking about some iconic games like Smash Bros, Ocarina of Time, Mario Party, and some games that you may have heard of like Snowboard Kids. And now we're talking about a game based off a film, so you may have heard of the film. You may not have played the game, but this is Big Nostalgia, so we are looking back at all sorts of
films. Not just the popular ones, but also, and not just the iconic ones, but maybe the more like under the carpet ones. Still a Nintendo 64 game.
Yep.
It was also released on the PC, PlayStation, Game Boy Color, and of course, the Nintendo 64. The release date was January the 1st, 1990 for the UK...
1999.
1999. I've got it written down here and everything, and I said 1991 before, so... Anyway, ignore that. On the Nintendo 64 in Europe. Which just missed the Christmas. I mean...
Yeah, that seems like...
Pointless.
The worst
time to come out
to release a game.
January the 1st. I mean,
one, other games are going to be on sale. Two, you've literally just missed Christmas, so
no one's going to have any money.
No one's going to have any money. This is a game that was literally snuck out. We were talking before recording. We're not even sure how we ended up with this game as kids.
Yeah, it's just one of those games that either came free or was reduced enough or probably given to us, but we've ended up having it.
Yeah.
And I don't actually remember playing a lot of it because one of the big things about this game was the memory pack.
Yeah, you needed the memory pack for it.
To even get past a certain amount, you had to have the memory pack, otherwise, obviously, it wouldn't save.
Yeah, and I remember we did have memory pack, but we just used it for other games.
Yeah, because I don't think the memory pack had a lot of memory on it.
Yeah, or we just never were like, or we just never cared enough really to save our progress in A Bug's Life N64.
But anyway, to the plot. The character Flick, obviously our hero, is there to save his anthill from the...
It's the cockroaches?
No.
We did not look up the plot before recording this because we were like, we know what happens in this film.
It's not cockroaches. It's the flying ones. It's like from the evil guys, the evil bugs.
From the evil bugs.
Of course, the evil bugs have been coming over and stealing half their food for like a lifetime, even though the lifetime of these evil bugs, which I can't remember what they're called right now, apparently is only like a year, so the likelihood of this is very kind of like, but that's Disney for you. Anyway, so he's just a normal ant worker, and then he gets kicked out for getting rid of all the food by accident.
Because he's an inventor, isn't he?
Yeah, he invented that little slingshot thing to save time, or...
It's the grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers, obviously. Grasshoppers.
The main one was played by Kevin Spacey, which is kind of ironic given the recent news.
But he gets kicked out of the anthill, ends up on the outskirts and meets this band of circus performers, which he thinks are heroes, to help fight the grasshoppers.
Yeah.
So he brings them back, but actually they think that he's talking about a gig, misconstrued. But they end up saving the day pretty well, don't they?
Yeah, and it seems to be a weird period of time when bug films, because this was not that far.
That wasn't long after
removed.
Ants.
Yeah, I can't remember which one was first.
I want to say Ants was first.
Yeah.
So not only did the film come out just after a major ant film, but the game came out just after Christmas.
So it wasn't well placed. The film did well.
Yeah, the film actually... the Bug's Life film made 162.8 million, making it the fourth highest grossing movie in 1998.
So yeah, it's
maybe
a weird
it came
one,
first.
Do you think of I always think of Ants as being the Bug's
first.
Life knockoff.
Oh, okay.
So I think Ants may have come after.
Please comment below.
I mean, also, we could just Google it after this recording session. I just Googled to see that it was grasshoppers.
Shh.
Because we're talking about the game, I didn't think... I just remember... I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this.
So the main character, of course, is Flick, and that's the main character you play as in the game. I believe you can play as the other characters as well, though.
We
like
never
the
got
other
that
ants.
far.
But,
and to be honest, all the models look exactly the same.
Yeah. It's very, very simple Nintendo 64 sort of esque time. Very simple graphics, very simple
very
worlds, very repetitive. I mean, even the music. We were listening to the music, and the music was very kind of generic stuff.
Like, we've played the game... Well, I played the game at least reasonably recently, and I couldn't recognise which of the tracks had been in the levels I'd played and which hadn't, so that's probably not a good sign for your soundtrack.
The game was actually developed by Traveller's Tales, Turdex Design Studios, but for some reason it's GBC.
That's for the Game Boy Color version.
Ah, I see. That makes sense. But
no, that was possibly the most interesting thing whilst we were researching this game, because Traveller's Tales, everyone knows now.
And the development team at that time also made 62 games, including Miss Pac-Man on the Master System 1991. That is 1991. FIFA 97 on the Game Boy 1996, and quite a few Disney games on the Game Boy's Color on the Game Boy, such as Mulan 1998 and Toy Story 1996.
Yeah, so it was kind of they were the go-to for, the
generic
tie-ins,
game, sort of.
The movie tie-ins.
Yeah, movie games, if you want a generic system where you can have your hero.
To be honest, it's probably all built on the same engine, wasn't it?
I remember playing this Toy Story one, and I don't remember it being that different from how I remember the Bug's Life one being. No. But that was like on the Game Boy Color, so of course it was 2D, but this whole look and feel of it was quite similar.
But yeah, like I say, Traveller's Tales, everyone knows nowadays because they struck gold when they started making the Lego games. And they still make the Lego games.
Yeah, they struck gold big time.
Yeah.
So, the actual gameplay of it, as you can tell, we haven't really played much of it at all. But what we have played of it, I'd say quite clunky. I mean, when I was doing the research for this, there's just so many things that you can collect. Now, in a traditional Nintendo 64 game, say Mario, you'd collect what? Stars, coins, hearts? Did you have hearts?
Well, later games, but if we're comparing to Super Mario 64, there was coins, red coins, stars. And that's about banjo-kazooie is possibly more of a comparison, where you had notes, jiggies, feathers, eggs, mumbo tokens, honeycomb pieces. But this, in comparison, I mean, you could collect tokens, grain tokens and Flick tokens, and of course Flick's tokens would spell out his name, which someone got a bit confused with. So I was playing this game recently, just as to refresh myself before playing, and I forgot that his name was Flick, and I found an F and I found a K, and I was like, am I missing the U and the C? What am I spelling here? So you would have tokens, which are grain tokens, Flick tokens, and enemy tokens. But you'd also have berry types, which were red, super, homing, gold. And then you'd also have seeds and plant power-ups. So brown seeds, green, blue, purple, and yellow. So just personally reading all of that and all the different, things that they can do. It's not obvious when you play the game either. No, it just seems too much. Does this do this? Does this do what I want it to do? No? Okay, let's just start hitting buttons until it does. But I only had 15 levels altogether, the entire game, which isn't actually that big of a game. Well, the thing is, all it needs to do was exist, give you a few hours of fun, and that was it. Remind you about the film, and I suppose games like that, all they need to do is promote the film that they're... I mean, we say 15 levels, therefore it's not that long. Neither of us have ever completed it. That is very true. Even in the hour I played the other day to get through, I got to... I didn't even get to the bit where he's at the circus. Oh, so still very early on. Yeah, so I did the gliding across the canyon, you know what he does with the... You know, he gets the plant, he glides across. It's dandelion, isn't it? Yeah, dandelion. And I think I may have done a level after that. I honestly can't remember. I did at least one boss.
So, personally, this game is not an iconic one for me. For us, I'd say. It's one of those games that you can waste a couple of hours on, or maybe 1 hour on. But because of its, I think the major downside for me as a kid was that whole memory thing. But I think it's a good game to remind you of the film. I mean, what I remember of it was very truthful to what happens in the film. It's just, of course, the film was more interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was like this series. We didn't want to just play the hits.
We wanted to do the downloads as well.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about all the games we played a lot as a kid. And we did play this game a decent amount.
We never got that far.
Yeah,
we played it a lot. We just never got that far. So it was just never really an iconic one for me.
And playing it as an adult, it's not intuitive as to what you have to do. Like the levels are linear, but like the second level was a maze, and I got lost. I just kind of guessed my way through it. Because the way
Do you think that the gameplay was too hard for children?
I think it was not intuitive enough. Like the gameplay itself is simple, but the fact that you have to hit the triggers to like loop round the different like the different colours of things and stuff like that, and each one does a different thing. I was having trouble with that, and I'm in my 20s. I was like, what am I doing here? I think I could probably beat it now. Like, part of the way I'm editing this for YouTube is that there's footage of it on the screen, so I've clearly played an hour on recording. I haven't recorded it yet, so I'm interested to see how many mistakes and how lost I get. And I hope it's not too distracting people from listening to us.
Well, in the comments below, let us know what you think. But
let us know if you've played it. That's going to be the interesting bit.
Completed it as well. Definitely on the old memory system.
Yeah.
But I think as a kid, that was my main point. I wanted a game that was easy to play, and with say like Mario 64, you arrived, there was a hub world, and then you jump through the pictures. You couldn't get through certain pictures because you didn't have enough stars. That concept is quite simple for a child, but to be a character and you have to walk around this world and collect all these bits, but then these bits connect to another bits, and you can't save unless you have this, and
it's not even the first game we've talked about this season which needed the memory card to save, because Snowboard Kids did as well, but Snowboard Kids was almost a complete package without unlocking anything because it was a racing game.
If you played Snowboard Kids without a memory card, which I think we did quite a lot of times, you didn't lose much. You lost a couple of extra levels, maybe an extra player, but that's about it. You could still do a general good playthrough of Snowboard Kids without the memory card. This relied solely on the memory card.
Because this was the early era of memory cards. Where not everyone had them, but for some reason
every game needed them.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what went wrong with the system from the NES days of just having a code. Because some games I think still did that. You know, like if you wanted to come back to this point, just put in this code and it'll bring you back.
Well, of course, then, as we said in one of our last episodes, the Nintendo 64's actual hard drive was very limited, so I suppose they did the memory card system for more of the bigger games, but I never really thought of Bugs Life as a big game.
Yeah, I think it possibly more because of its being being a multi-platform game.
Oh, so being used on so many different consoles.
Yeah, because obviously the PlayStation needed memory cards. I don't think obviously the PC didn't, but that would have written memory in a different way.
What about Game Boy Color?
Game Boy Color would have been a completely different version. Built completely differently. That's why there's two developers listed. Because the 3D one would have been the PC PlayStation N64. And the Game Boy Color would have just been developed by that second company. So yeah, that's a bit of a shorter one today.
Yeah, there's not much to go into really because of the type of game it was.
What we would rather with this series is that we talk about a game for as long as we need to talk about it, because I think arbitrarily making something last
just to make up time.
Yeah, so you'll notice that some of our episodes go longer, but that's because we get into real
deep insight. I can imagine the banjo-kazooie one being the longest.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
We haven't recorded it yet, but it probably will. But yeah, this is just meant to be an insight. I don't think dragging it out for the sake of posterity or the sake of having them all be the same length is an issue.
Thank you for being here with us today. Yeah. I've been Vixter.
I've been haddowinc. Join us next week where we'll be going into another obscure title with Tom and Jerry Fists of Furry, which is a 3D arena fighting game. And I like that. I actually I quite like
this game, yeah.
So that one's probably going to be a bit more discussion.
Yeah.
It's just a Bug's Life.
What more can you say, really?
Yeah, I was trying to think of the song. Because
only song that's coming into my mind is You've Got a Friend in Me, and that's Toy Story.
And I don't know why. And then that reminds me of that end credit scene from Toy Story 2 where they're like, oh, they're making a Bug's Life 2. And then Buzz just, I guess, kills them by chopping down. Anyway, if you want to follow us for any updates on shows and what's going on, then you can follow us on Twitter at abridgedbk. That will also have the news of our other series. But yeah, for now, join us next week. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Let us know in the comments if you've ever played this game and your experiences with it. Or
if you think that we should actually, finish the game.
Yeah, next GBK series. A full Let's Play of Bug's Life in 64. God. I think we would need alcohol for that.
That would be funny.
Anyway, until then, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bien.
Do 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 do.
Bien.
Do 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 do.
Bien.
Do 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 do.
Big nostalgia.
Yeah.